It is good to see you all here today, and I want to begin by acknowledging several important folks who are here with us today, work hard every single day to make our Commonwealth work. Let me begin with our Office of Administration Secretary, Secretary Weaver, who joins us here today. Thank you, Mr. Secretary. I also want to note, you'll hear from him in a moment, but I want to note the presence of the Secretary of Labor and Industry, Secretary Walker, is awesome. And it's always good to see Director Randy Padfield of PEMA when there is not an emergency. Now that I just said that, I assume there'll be an emergency. We've got two members of our Civil Service Commission with us. Chairwoman Donna Tucci is with us, who I served with in the House of Representatives. Thank you for your work. And you'll hear in a moment from Commissioner Iovino. I'm also really pleased to be joined by two of our local representatives from South Central Pennsylvania doing really important work for our workforce. You'll hear about some important legislation that they are sponsoring in just a moment. I want to welcome and acknowledge Representative Justin Fleming and Representative Carol Hill Evans. Thank you very much for being with us. And it's great to see my mayor here, Mayor Williams from Harrisburg. Thank you for taking great care of us. We appreciate you, Mayor. We're joined by a number of labor leaders who are with us today. I'm very grateful that they are here. I'm grateful for the work that they do every day in partnership with our administration to ensure that our workforce has everything they need to go out and perform at an extraordinarily high level. We appreciate you, gentlemen. Thank you very much for being with us. This, of course, is our Commonwealth's second annual job fair. And by the way, my second time being here. We want to make sure that this job fair is a place where we can continue to show how we're making the Commonwealth be a great employer, not just here in Pennsylvania, but across the country, and to make it a place where we can recruit the best, most highly skilled and brightest workers to help serve our communities. I want you to know we value our workforce here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. That's why we put on events like this, where we have over 1,000 people, 1,000 of our fellow Pennsylvanians signing up to check out opportunities in public service. It's really, really exciting. And I'm here today to announce next steps that we are taking to help make this Commonwealth a great employer. Under my administration, we've taken 3 concrete steps to improve the hiring process and make state government a more competitive employer so we can recruit the most talented workers in the country. First, we put the right people in place to get the job done. Secretary Neil Weaver has recruited a great HR team in the Office of Administration, including Executive Deputy Secretary Gabby Trucco. We appreciate you, Gabby. Thank you. Our Chief HR Officer, Jason Thwarthout. Thank you, Jason. And our Director of Talent Management, I love that title, Miranda Martin. Thank you, Miranda. They are working every single day to get the best talent working for the Commonwealth and get them working here quickly. Second, with this great team in place, we've made clear that Pennsylvania values skills over arbitrary requirements that too often times shut people out. That's why on my first day in office, I signed an executive order making 92% of our state government jobs, about 70,000 jobs, open to people without a college degree. Since then, over the last 2 years, our administration has worked to emphasize skills and experience in the Commonwealth's hiring practices. And it's working. 60% of all of our new hires in the Commonwealth during the last 2 years have been hired without a college degree. We are opening up the doors of opportunity to more Pennsylvanians to serve our fellow Pennsylvanians. Third, We set a goal to get the Commonwealth employees hired a whole lot more quickly than the day I took office. When I took office, it took 3 months to onboard someone into an open job in the Commonwealth. We came together to significantly improve that. Secretary Weaver and his team, along with the rest of my cabinet and hiring teams in each agencies, have cut that hiring time down by a third. It now takes 60 days to get someone onboarded, closer to where the private sector is. But let me tell you, we are not done. I believe we can do even better. By improving that time period, that has allowed us to fill some really critical positions, including 600 positions in state government that help us process licenses, certifications, and permits more quickly than ever before. The Commonwealth's total complement today is 81,800 people. And right now we have 5,600 critical vacancies. These are openings for things like registered nurses who help our seniors and our veterans get healthy, civil engineers who make sure that our roads and bridges are safe, accountants who process your tax returns, people who work at PEMA with Director Padfield to help keep us safe. We're working hard to hire the most qualified people to fill these important positions. And right now, we have a unique opportunity to recruit federal workers who have significant experience and expertise and skills in these fields because they've already done those jobs at the federal level. Some of them might have been laid off recently, and some of them, well, they might just be looking for a change right now. If they're qualified and they want to serve Pennsylvanians, well, hear me on this. We want you on our team. Let me give you an example of this. Across state agencies like our Department of Health and the Department of Military and Veteran Affairs, led by General Pippi, we need at least 27 nurses to help our veterans and help other Pennsylvanians. Last month, hundreds of probationary employees in the Federal Department of Veterans Affairs were laid off, including nurses and highly skilled healthcare professionals that we need here in the Commonwealth. These are folks who already have the necessary training and they know how to do these jobs well. They can step into one of our vacancies and be ready to serve on day one. And so I want to encourage them to apply for a job right now in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. We have seen the impact we can have when we have the right people in place in our Commonwealth. Commonwealth employees in our administration have cut down wait times. They've sped up services, and they've built a state government that now works at the speed of business. As a result of their work, well, you know this, we cataloged all 2,400 permits that we issued. We launched the Pennsylvania PA payback system to give people a money-back guarantee to ensure that they get their permits on time. It's working. Go ask a business owner. In order to do business in Pennsylvania, you need a standard business license. The day I took office, it took 8 weeks to get that business license. Today, it takes just 2 days. That's because of the dedication and hard work of our state employees who have sped up that and so many other permits to make it move more quickly. We've also gotten rid of backlogs. Let me give you one example. At the DEP, under leadership of Acting Secretary Josh Shapiro, we cut down on DEP permit backlogs by 80%. That is truly remarkable. And again, due to the dedication of the tremendous people that work at DEP. We're making sure Pennsylvanians in between jobs, well, they get the unemployment compensation that they deserve. Under the amazing leadership of Secretary Walker, they eliminated the backlog in unemployment compensation. The day she walked into the office, it took 1 hour for someone to take your call and process your unemployment claim. Today, that's down to less than 15 minutes and continuing to improve. I'm incredibly proud of the work our Commonwealth employees have done. They are delivering results for the people of Pennsylvania, and they're getting stuff done every single day. Just imagine how much more we could accomplish when we fill these critical vacancies. And understand these vacancies, these open jobs, these are positions that are already funded by a bipartisan vote in the legislature, and with my signature, these are budgeted positions. I want to be very clear about something. We are not looking to expand government. We are looking to fill the critical vacancies that we have right now. And we owe it to the people of Pennsylvania, people who rely on us to hire highly qualified, highly skilled individuals to fill those roles. And listen, while I feel really sorry for a number of those federal employees who lost their jobs, understand that what I'm announcing today is not some act of charity for them. This is an act of self-interest for the people of Pennsylvania, because I believe the Commonwealth can benefit from the experience and expertise of these federal workers who have been forced out of their jobs. So under Secretary Weaver's leadership, we have put in place a plan to quickly hire and onboard former federal employees whose experience match up with our state government jobs. In a few moments, I'm going to sign an executive order directing the Office of Administration to consider relevant federal work experience as equivalent to Commonwealth work experience when it comes to the state's top recruitment needs. We're going to establish dedicated resources for former federal employees, including and especially our veterans who have relevant work experience that we need to fill in our jobs here. To put this into action, the Office of Administration under Gabby and Neil's leadership have already taken significant and several concrete steps. First, they set up a new website that you can check out right now, pa.gov/fedworkers, with customized information and resources to help former federal employees find open state job opportunities. Second, they compiled a list of top recruitment needs for agencies under my jurisdiction and put that on that list. And third, and this was unbelievable work, Miranda did a great job with this, they proactively matched up those high-need positions in Pennsylvania with the equivalent positions at the federal level. So former federal employees or current federal employees who are looking for a way out, they and their hiring managers now alike can know at a glance if a candidate's federal experience pre-qualifies them for a certain job in state government. Let me give you a concrete example of this. If you were a registered nurse at the U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs, you should know that your critical skills are needed here in the Commonwealth. Under my executive order, you will now be pre-qualified for these jobs if you have the right skills and experience. This is one more common sense step that we can take to get people on the job faster. Remember before I told you we cut down a third of the time it took to onboard? As a result of this action, this will help us get former and current federal employees on the job even faster than that. Now look, part of making things move more quickly in our state government to onboard people is to reform our civil service rules so that we can move more quickly. I did this way back when I served as chairman of the county commissioners in Montgomery County, reforming our civil service rules there. And let me tell you, it worked. And I believe we can do this at the state level. We can do this and make sure that we are opening up our state government jobs to a more diverse set of applicants, speed up the time it takes to get someone hired for civil service, and ensure that we have strong pathways for veterans who want to serve our Commonwealth. Understand that our civil service law dates back 84 years. It is a law that is in desperate need of updating and improvement, And I am grateful to Representative Fleming and Representative Carol Hill Evans for their efforts to sponsor legislation to do just that. You'll hear from them in a few moments. Look, we know how to solve problems in Pennsylvania. We know how to make government work more quickly. And we know that the power to do that is in the hands of these 80,000 or so wonderful people who dedicate themselves to service in Pennsylvania. I'm inspired by them. I enjoy visiting with them in their offices and their cubicles out in the field. I appreciate the work that they do. Their work is meaningful and impactful. I want to fill these vacancies. I want to fill them with federal workers who are looking for a great place to work where they will be respected and where their skills will be used to help our fellow Pennsylvanians. I want them to join a complement of wonderful employees who are already doing great work in Pennsylvania. All of this is going to require us to continue to work together with our leadership team that's assembled here, with our wonderful leaders in organized labor, and most importantly, with the 80,000 people who have dedicated themselves to service, making the sacrifices every day to support our fellow Pennsylvanians. I am grateful to them for their leadership, and I'm grateful to all of the people assembled here who do this important work. Now, it is my pleasure to welcome to the microphone Pam Iovino, a member of our Civil Service Commission, to speak about their important work and their important role in this effort. Thank you all very much. Pam?
Good morning, everyone. And a thank you to Governor Shapiro to inviting me to join today's event. I'm Pam Iovino. I'm a former Pennsylvania State Senator, a proud 24 veteran of the United States Navy, 24-year veteran, and currently a member of the Pennsylvania Civil Service Commission. I'd like to acknowledge something right up front, and I have a pretty strong bias that hiring a vet is a great idea. So, in hiring a vet, in addition to world-class training and experience that they bring in a wide range of job skills and area, a veteran already brings the idea and the concept of public service that has been ingrained in them while they wore a uniform. So with today's signing of Executive Order 2025-01, Governor Shapiro will be demonstrating a commitment to accelerating hiring and expanding opportunities to crucial state government jobs to highly qualified federal workers. This also reflects the governor's commitment to open doors to our veterans, as he has mentioned during his remarks. I think maybe he has the same idea that hiring a vet is a good idea, or at least never a bad one. Pennsylvania has 800,000 veterans, nearly 800,000 veterans. It's the fourth largest veteran population in the country, and we are not the fourth largest state. So the two takeaways from those stats are, one is we have this really wonderful, rich history of service in uniform in the military in Pennsylvania. We also have a propensity to boomerang back home and make this great state our home. Veterans make up 17% of the Commonwealth workforce, an example of our deep commitment to veteran hiring practices, and nearly 30% of the federal workers are veterans. So if one of those federal workers is looking for a job and is qualified, we want their expertise here in Pennsylvania. Expanding and streamlining access and opportunity for our veterans is critically important, and Governor Shapiro's work expands on Pennsylvania's already long-standing commitment to open those doors. I look forward to continuing to work with the governor, to work with the Civil Service Commission and any other stakeholders in this opportunity. So I just want to thank the governor again and everybody who's here today. And with that, my responsibility is to introduce Pennsylvania Emergency Management Agency PEMA employee Jonathan Skripka.
You're up. Good morning. My name is Jonathan Skripka, and I'm the Director of Disaster Recovery Assistance at the Pennsylvania Emergency Management Agency. I'm honored to be here today to talk about how my experience as a former federal employee has set me up for success and allowed me to provide outstanding service to the Commonwealth. For as long as I could remember, I've been driven by a desire to help people. I joined my local volunteer fire department at a young age and worked my way up to serve as Assistant Chief. I began volunteering with the Luzerne County Emergency Management Agency in 2007, and for the next 11 years, I continued to volunteer and take as many training courses as I could to grow my knowledge. In August of 2018, I joined the Federal Emergency Management Agency as a local hire, providing temporary assistance to 11 Pennsylvania counties affected by severe storms. From there, I was hired to serve FEMA in a permanent position as an emergency management specialist. I became a national asset based out of Washington, D.C. Later that year, I deployed to Florida to work with communities after a series of hurricanes impacted the southern states. I loved my job with FEMA because I was living my dream of helping others. However, I missed being in my home state and kept searching for a career that would bring me back to Pennsylvania. Then in 2019, the opportunity to serve my Commonwealth came. FEMA posted an opening for an emergency management specialist. This position was exactly what I was doing with FEMA, except the work was focused solely on helping people in the Commonwealth. The skills I developed in the federal government helped me to assist my coworkers at FEMA in navigating complex federal policy and eligibility requirements as we can help fellow Pennsylvanians recover from disasters. In many cases, having a complete understanding of what happens at the federal level has helped us at the state to speed up the process of delivering federal disaster relief money to affected Pennsylvanians. I'm thankful to have a career doing something I love and excited to come to work every day knowing that I'm assisting my fellow Pennsylvanians recover from disaster strike. Without the experience I developed from my tenure with FEMA, I am not sure if I would be as successful as I am today providing the best possible service to the Commonwealth. I chose to speak today about my experience because it has been the highlight of my career to serve Pennsylvania. The new executive order will provide a clear pathway for federal workers to come to serve state government and share their own stories of continued success and public service to their neighbors, just like I've been able to do. Thank you. I will turn it over to Representative Fleming.
Good job. Very well done.
Good morning, everybody. I'm State Representative Justin Fleming. I represent communities neighboring here in Susquehanna Township, Lower Paxton Township, and Pembroke Borough. I'm here on behalf of my colleagues, Representative David Madsen and Representative Nate Davidson, who both represent the city of Harrisburg. And we are proud to sponsor the Civil Service Modernization Act. As a candidate and now as governor, I have heard Governor Shapiro talk many times about building a Commonwealth that works for all. And with this executive order and the Civil Service Modernization Act, we're going to build a Commonwealth where all can work. And I appreciate the flexibility of state government to take this opportunity, while it's unfortunate for the federal employees who are going through this, to take this opportunity to say, hey, we can enhance our workforce here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and we're going to do just that. I also saw the effects of the civil service process on the local level as a commissioner in Susquehanna Township for 8 years. And I will tell you, we had challenges in terms of hiring a unionized workforce with our public works department, hiring police officers. And when you talk about public safety, there can't be any delays. Those jobs are too critical for us to endure a long, laborious process to be able to fill the positions that we need filled. So we are honored to be a part of this. The governor's executive order, like I said, is step one, and then hopefully we can have state legislation with the Civil Service Modernization Act to make the workforce solutions that we need for a modern day workforce here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and again, continue to enhance what we do and enhance those that work for the Commonwealth. I had the great privilege of being a Commonwealth employee for 6.5 years in 3 different state agencies during the Rendell administration. We go back a ways. And it was it was the highlight of my life. And now I have a chance to continue my service as a state representative. And I appreciate the people, every one of the people you see behind us, both the vendors and the folks who have come to this job fair looking for an opportunity to serve. So I am absolutely thrilled to join the governor today and thrilled to be a part of this mission to do better here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Now it's my honor and pleasure to introduce another one of my colleagues, the great chair of our state government committee in the House Democratic Caucus, State Representative Carol Hill Evans. Thank you. Thank you.
Wow, they're great. I love that. Good morning, everyone. I am State Representative Carol Hill Evans, and I'm honored, to stand here with our esteemed Governor Shapiro and my colleagues, as well as some of my team members, as we announce support for the governor's executive order to recruit experienced, qualified, and talented federal workers to the Commonwealth, as well as new legislation by Representative Madsen to finally make much-needed reforms to our 84-year-old state civil service statutes program. This reformed legislation will modernize our hiring system so that our agencies can attract top talent, expand opportunities for Pennsylvania's diverse workforce, and continue delivering the high-quality services our constituents deserve. As chair of the House State Government Committee, I look forward to guiding this proposal through the legislative process. I believe it reflects our shared commitment to open, efficient, and equitable government, one that welcomes innovative pathways for individuals with disabilities, upholds veterans' preferences, and removes unnecessary barriers to public service. And so with that, I look forward to working with my colleagues to ensure these reforms move swiftly and effectively in the weeks ahead. And with that, I would like to bring up Secretary Neil Weaver. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
While the great Carol Hill Evans was speaking, Representative Madsen snuck in behind her and she didn't see that. So before we bring up the secretary, I want to welcome Representative Dave Madsen to say a few words. Rep.
Oh, there we go. You got it.
Well, good morning. Thank you so much for having me here. Glad I made it. Sorry I was late. One of my bills was running through the Human Services Committee, and good news, it passed unanimously. So, I had my Wheaties this morning, so. No, I'm gonna be brief, but as somebody that worked for the Pennsylvania Department of Revenue and was a card-carrying union member, I am just so proud to support this legislation. Civil service is a great career path. It's an honorable way to make a living. I can't think of a better way to support your family than supporting our Commonwealth. And as we know, there's some interesting changes happening at the federal level, also locally. So we want to make sure those families that have been impacted by sudden changes have a path forward to join the Commonwealth. And so when I was told about this piece of legislation, that was where my mind first went, is the families that are being impacted by sudden changes. We just saw some very big changes in my district, so I'm excited to know that we can engage them, hopefully when the legislation passed and through this executive order, to give folks a pathway so they can immediately jump into the state government and also recruit others from other states. There's a lot of talent out there. We want them to be able to join us here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania and provide excellent service to our constituents. So excited to work on this. Thank you for the opportunity, and we'll get it done.
Thank you. Mr. Secretary.
Thank you, Governor. Commissioner Iovino, Jonathan, and our House delegation. Through this executive order and the changes we want to see from civil service modernization, our goal is to have a strong workforce in state government to meet the diverse needs of our residents. Whether you run a business or a government department, the value of high-performing employees to your organization and your customers is the same. In this case, our customers are 13 million Pennsylvanians. Since the beginning of the administration, we wanted people to know that the Commonwealth is a great place to work. And we want to make sure we are doing everything we can to attract the best and brightest to public service. Under this administration, we have updated our employee benefits to keep up with the private sector and the needs of our workforce. For example, reducing the waiting period to enroll dependents in health coverage. This change is saving new hires nearly $2,700 in out-of-pocket costs, increasing paid parental leave from 6 weeks to 8 weeks, because no parent should have to choose between spending time with their family or receiving a paycheck. Increasing mental health resources for employees and their families, offering tuition discounts at no cost to taxpayers, and updating our workplaces to be more modern and accessible. Again, this is about attracting exceptional employees to our state agencies to provide the services that Pennsylvanians rely on each day. And we want everyone to know that Commonwealth is hiring. If you go to our employment website right now, there are more than 540 job postings you can apply to. We have openings for nurses and other medical staff to care for our veterans and vulnerable populations. We have openings for engineers to make sure our roads, bridges, and new construction projects are safe. And we have openings for accountants to make sure our taxpayer dollars are used wisely and for their intended purpose. The breadth of work by Commonwealth employees is enormous. Every job plays an important role in fulfilling our mission to serve the public good. The executive order that the governor will sign will help recruit individuals with valuable experience in federal agencies, giving them the opportunity to put their skills and talent to work once again in public service. Likewise, the changes being proposed as civil service are critical to hiring great employees. We cannot compete in a 21st century job market if we are hiring like it's 1941. We need a civil service system that ensures people are hired based on their ability and protects government workers who are doing their jobs. Speaking to those protections, we are committed to always supporting our veterans and our workforce. We have nearly 13,000 employees with military service, and we are greatly grateful for their service to our nation and now our Commonwealth. We are committed to a strong veterans hiring preference, and this will not change under a modernized civil service. A modernized civil service will improve our ability to hire people with the right qualifications for the specific positions they fill. It will help us increase the diversity of candidate pools and give managers more flexibility to hire the person who best fits the job. Now it will open doors to opportunity to people who want to come to work for the Commonwealth and make a difference through their service. We look forward to working closely with the General Assembly to advance this important legislation. Thank you, and Governor, it's ready to sign the executive order.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're going to sign the executive order, and then I'll come back and take a few questions.
Just fill in for Don's vote, please.
Give it back to him, though, because that's all the emergencies. Fill on in here. Okay, ready?
I can't see. Right front.
How can you not see Fleming? He's like
small.
8 feet tall.
I'm small.
All right, here we go. That's for you. Let's go take care of some business. Jen. Thank you. I'll see if there's a few questions. We're happy to take them from the media. Go ahead, Tom. I'm happy to answer your question. I can't hear you, so you're going to have to.
So for these particular jobs, do you have an idea of like how many actual positions are changing in terms of the experience requirement?
I'm really sorry. I can't. So we're not changing anything we're doing in Pennsylvania, nor changing any of our qualifications. What we're doing, though, is taking those who already have skills from the federal level and showing how the jobs they had there match up with the qualifications required in state government to help ease that in. So for example, and I'm making up this example, but to elucidate the point further, if you were a nurse 2 at the federal level, so you're that second level nurse at the federal level, working in the U.S. Veterans Department, we have nurses at level 2 as well. And so we're able to sync up, thanks to Miranda, Gabby, and others who did this work, sync up the experience they got at the federal level with the work that we need done at the state level and show that you're pre-qualified for that work at the state level. So we're not modifying our standards, we're not reducing our standards, but we're showing our federal employees how they can pre-qualify for these state jobs based on the skills and experience they already have.
Governor, given the number of federal employees that have been let go recently, do you have any concerns about the state government or any Pennsylvanian accessing federal services due to lack of staff at this point?
Look, I think that's a question for the Trump administration. They've made dramatic cuts, cuts that I think make us less safe and less healthy and less protected in the United States of America. They're going to have to answer for that. My job is to make sure the good people of Pennsylvania get the critical services that they deserve. And the way I can deliver those critical services is through the incredible work of the 80,000 strong employees of our Commonwealth who do this work every day, do this work on our roads, in our state parks, in our office buildings, and in so many other places, keeping Pennsylvanians safe and healthy, delivering services on time and effectively for them.
You want to talk tariffs? What do you think of President Trump's recent tariff announcement, and what will the impact be on Pennsylvania?
Look, President Trump yesterday chose to slap tariffs on our two closest allies, Canada and Mexico. And as a result of starting a trade war with our friends, slapped a huge tax on the people of Pennsylvania and the American people, driving up the cost of goods and services and shutting off critical markets for Pennsylvania businesses and farmers. Let me explain with a concrete example. Our Pennsylvania dairy farmers sell more product to Mexico than any other state. So when you are a Pennsylvania farmer trying to sell your milk or your cheese to Mexico as a result of the president's tariffs, our products now cost more in Mexico, which means Mexicans are going to buy less product from Pennsylvania, or maybe no product at all because of President Trump's tax. That is going to make it harder for our farmers to get by, harder for our farmers to access critical markets. And that's an example, whether it's our farmers or our small businesses, where markets are now going to be shut off to them because of President Trump's tax. Now, if you're a consumer looking to purchase goods or purchase, say, a new car, well, any car you buy, no matter the make, model, whether it's EV or a combustible engine, that car has aluminum in it. And the vast majority of the aluminum in cars comes from Canada. Over the last several days, I've spoken to several premiers in Canada talking about the aluminum they produce in their provinces and how it comes to Pennsylvania in products, particularly in our cars. As a result of President Trump's tariff and tax on the American people, the average sedan is going to go up about $3,000. The average pickup truck is going to go up about $8,000. So here we've got a president who picked a fight with our friends and allies and drove up the costs on the American people. It doesn't make any sense. Look, I get that economic policy can be confusing. Sometimes, why does the stock market go up or down? Why does inflation go up or down? That's confusing, and oftentimes economists have different views on these things. Tariffs is pretty simple. This guy pushed a button and jacked up the price of goods and services for the American people and shut out markets for our farmers, our small businesses, and others in Pennsylvania who rely on our critical trading partners like Canada and Mexico. It makes no sense. I don't know why he did it, but we're going to see a real effect of his policies, and the effect is going to be higher prices for Pennsylvanians. Last thing I'll say is I have worked incredibly hard with bipartisan majorities in the House and the Senate to reduce costs for Pennsylvanians over the last 2 years. We tripled the child care tax credit. We finally delivered tax relief for seniors. Politicians talked about it here for 20 years. We delivered it. We cut costs for businesses. Heck, I'm a Democratic governor trying to get Republicans to join me to speed up tax cuts for our businesses so we can compete more effectively. We are working to reduce costs, and with one push of a tariff button, the tax that President Trump put in place threatens to dramatically increase those costs and make it harder for Pennsylvanians. I'm going to continue to stay focused on cutting costs. I don't know why the federal government is jacking up costs on Pennsylvanians. It makes no sense.
Governor, it was reported that you're speaking at a retreat later on this month with...
I can't hear you.
It was reported that you're speaking at a retreat later this month with Governors Whitmer and Beshear, two House Democrats. What are you going to talk about at that retreat with those governors and those lawmakers?
You know, I'm grateful Leader Jeffries invited me and two of my fellow governors to speak to the House Democratic Caucus about the work we're doing in our states, the common sense things we're doing that are making people's lives better. I look forward to sharing our stories of success here in Pennsylvania, the way we're doing common sense things, bringing Republicans and Democrats together to get stuff done, and look forward to the conversation.
Governor, what did you think of the president's speech last night?
What did I think of the president's speech last night? I mean, look, I get that. I get that there's a lot of pomp and circumstance to these things, and I celebrate that. I think it's important that a president address the nation. I also think it's important that a president tell the truth, which we didn't hear a whole lot of truth-telling last night. But beyond the sort of rhetoric and the showmanship, I'm really far more focused on the concrete things this administration does every day. I just talked in response to Jillian's question about a concrete thing they did a few hours before his speech, bringing those Trump tariffs, the Trump tax increase, to Pennsylvanians to drive up the costs of goods and services. I'm more focused on making sure that we address that, making sure that those federal employees that they fired and laid off who were performing really critical work are able to find a home here serving the good people of Pennsylvania. I'm focused on like tangible, concrete stuff. I'm focused on getting stuff done as opposed to, you know, some of the rhetoric and storytelling that the president did last night. All right? Thank you all very much. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for being with us.